Hey everybody, this is Mike Bono from the North Andover Athletic Association, and you are listening to the Nightly News Podcast, the show that brings you inside the lines of North Andover High School athletics. Welcome back, everybody. Mike Bono back here in the host chair. Al, how are you today?
Good, Mike. Welcome back.
Thank you. I apologize. I missed 3 previous podcasts due to an unexpected event. As most people might know, we do these sometimes back to back to back. So
Right.
I wasn't able to make it the last time when Al and our guest host, Dave Brown, graciously stepped in. And
Thank you, Dave. That was
thank you, Dave.
Up until about an hour before we did our first podcast last week, I thought I was flying solo, and it would have been awful.
No, you guys did a great job. I got a preview, so you
Good.
guys did wonderful. Our guest this week, second year head varsity coach, field hockey at North Andover High School, Coach Andrea Van Horn. Coach Van Horn, welcome to the Nightly News Podcast.
Why, thank you.
It's so exciting to have you here. How have you been? How's your summer been?
Great. I have no complaints about the summer.
No summer complaints.
No summer complaints.
Okay.
I'm actually really meant for summer. That's
Okay.
where I'm at my best. So
There you
summer.
go. And that's probably good because you are a 6th grade teacher at North Andover Middle School. So summer is like being a summer person. That actually works out well.
Yes, for sure. I work at a summer camp too in the summer. So, yeah, 6th grade teacher,
So
summer
you're not,
camp.
You're not at the beach all day.
Well, I actually am because I'm a waterfront director. So I spend my summers on the beach of Lake Ossipee.
There you go. Well played with the summer camp. Well, thank you for coming on. And
Of course.
we appreciate having you with a young family and everything. Appreciate you taking the time. So you, before we get into North Andover High School, you played college field hockey at Westfield State.
I did play college field hockey at Westfield State. Believe it or not, I started my college field hockey career at American University.
Okay. Down in the D.C. area.
Down in the D.C.
Okay.
area as a freshman. I walked on and I made it. I made the travel team and everything. But the college was really good. They were 15th in the nation at the time. So I didn't see a lot of playing time. And then I ended up transferring to Westfield State, which was Division III. And that's when I think I had, I don't want to say a better field hockey career, but I made more of an impact on the team.
Great. That's great. So, and you graduated from North Andover High.
I did.
So,
Class of 95.
Townie?
No, not
Okay.
really. So I have an interesting history. My family was in the military.
Okay.
And so I've lived all over the world, born in Arizona, moved to Germany, then Texas, Mississippi, New Hampshire, and I finally landed here in North Andover around middle school.
Wow.
So yeah. So kind
could
of
be a townie.
right.
Okay.
My kids could be townies. Yeah.
Well, the reason I mentioned that is because there are so many townies in North Andover, and we jokingly talked about it in previous podcasts with Bill Gordon and others who
Steve Nugent.
Yeah.
who all are townies.
We always reference like The Hobbit, like you come back to the Shire. So that's
My wife did it.
There you go. Right. So talk to us about your team. So you maybe first talk about, like, you lost some players from last year, right?
I did.
I
Some
know
really strong players
some
from
are
last year.
College, Summer's going to play college. Talk about what you're losing, sort of what's coming in, what's in the pipeline for the team this year.
Yeah, so I had some solid seniors last year, especially in the midfield. So, Summer Gordon, Ashlyn Callahan. I had a great score with Emma DeBressy. I had Jenna with the goalie and Nina on defense. I'm missing one more. Oh, this is going to drive me crazy.
She'll come to you.
Yeah, she'll come to me, is right. So a big vacuum. And I think just the way that their lives have been made, the juniors this year have not really played with my seniors this year. The juniors have really played with the sophomores and the freshmen. So we kind of realized that when we were starting our practices. We're like, wow, we're lacking a little bit of the chemistry. And the kids said, honestly, we haven't really played together. I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. I think mostly because of COVID, that they just were never really paired up in their seasons. So, yeah, we're in a place right now. I have, I think, 7 or 8 seniors, most returning from last year. Some saw more playing time than others. And then I have, about 10 juniors.
Great.
So, and I do have one freshman.
Okay. Oh, let me guess.
Gordon?
Is it a Gordon?
It is. It is.
Okay.
It is.
Yes. I mean, if you talk about North Andover field hockey and you don't mention a Gordon name, like, I don't know, something's wrong, because I think, although the dad probably seen about 500, 1,000 field hockey games, still doesn't know the rules. But,
Yeah, I pity the fans sometimes. If you've never played, you just watch it and you know the ball's supposed to go in the net, but you're not quite sure all the whistles in between.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Good.
Can you talk a little bit about the challenges of being in the MVC? I talk about this every time it comes up, probably on these podcasts. For my money, the MVC is the toughest conference in every sport almost in the state.
Yeah,
you go 7 deep with good teams in most sports.
Right. And if you look at the tournament from last year, most of the teams made it, and Andover was the state champion, Division I state champion. So fortunately, I really like the Andover coach. She is so good to me. She's always helping me out and giving me tips.
You coached with her in a all-star team.
Yeah. We coached the best of 60 together. Yeah. So luckily, she's kind of taken me under her wing a little bit. And I can't ask for a better mentor.
Who is it? One you can share a name.
I don't know. Rennie Noon. Okay. So yeah, she's great. So, but being in the MVC is challenging because you have 3 really strong powerhouses when it comes to field hockey: Chelmsford, Central, and Andover. Methuen's in a great spot right now. They are rebuilding. Haverhill and Dracut and Lowell, they struggle a little bit just with numbers.
Sure.
So it's a little bit harder for them. So I feel like North Andover field hockey has a tough time getting out of that middle pocket.
Sure.
We're not of the Andover state championship caliber yet.
Right.
But we don't have the same struggles that Lowell or Haverhill has.
What is it about Andover, Chelmsford? Like what? I mean, the Coach Noon has been there for a long time.
Yeah,
very long time, right? So having that stability is obviously a good thing. But like, is it their youth program? Like, what makes them so strong?
They do have a really solid youth program. Their coaches are disciplined and knowledgeable. They have a great staff. They have supportive athletics. I mean, we have all of those things, but I think what they have a little bit more of is club players on their team. What I like about North Andover field hockey is most of the kids, it's just one of their sports that they play. They play 3 seasons, and that's why they're there. They're there because they like the sport. They want to have fun. They want to have memories. They want to make friends, but they're not going to coin themselves as only a field hockey player. So I say I have a team that defines themselves in many ways. They might be on the ski team. They might play lacrosse. They are in student council. They're in the choir. They are part of Best Buddies. So they're very well-rounded individuals. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with not coaching a bunch of club kids.
Right.
I actually really enjoy coaching the kid that plays 3 sports and is involved in the band. So
Andover has a little bit on us with enrollment too. I think that might, affect it too.
Yeah. But the Andover kids are great. Like, we have a good relationship. We're actually doing a pediatric cancer fundraiser with them at the end of October. Nice. So the captains are teaming up. They're planning the whole thing. So again, a good group of kids on both ends.
Right. What's the date of that, just for people
October
listening?
26th. So it's at Andover.
Okay.
Right. And so what is that? Is it a game between Andover and North Andover?
We were playing anyway, and now we're just going to turn the proceeds into a donation.
Okay.
The kids are going to wear certain colors, and maybe a little announcement. Nothing crazy, but just something to honor that foundation.
Great.
I'm not surprised about Coach Noon taking you under her wing, as you mentioned, and just the type of person you are, and it goes to sort of what I've sort of seen in the last year of you. All the coaches in North Andover are great, but what I like, it seems like you're trying to develop a culture with the field hockey team.
So I would say from my high school career, I learned from Diane Fry. So Diane Fry was my high school coach. I had a couple of coaches, Mrs. Chesler, MB Lawler. Yeah. And I so I think I really learned from the best.
Yeah.
That high school sports is more about wins and losses. I know you've probably heard that 1,000 times. It really is about a culture and creating a space for kids to feel safe, make some progress, make some memories. And it may have helped that I coached at North Andover High at the freshman level, and then I took some time off and I went to the Booster Club. And I feel as if that really helped me. So I was the commissioner for field hockey for a couple of years and tried my best to help out at the youth program, which was hard because it was during COVID. And so I feel as if my numbers struggled.
Sure.
But there are a wonderful group of parents that are so helpful, and a lot of them played in college, and we really got along. And we worked together. You know, even though I had the title of commissioner, it was a team, it was a board, and we got together once a month, and we, made sure we had the right equipment, we had practice plans, we had schedules, so I feel as if going back to the Booster Club might have helped me know how to build a culture. So now I have the high school team working with the Booster Club, which I think is an important part because those little kids, not that they're little, some of them are in 8th grade, but those kids are so impressionable and they look up to the captains that can really hit the ball and say to themselves, I want to be like them. And so them being part of their lives is really important. And I think it's something for the youth to aspire to be.
Sure.
And so they help out at their practices and their games.
Gives me a good opening for the question that I have asked most coaches. What do you say to the 7th grader that wants to play in high school?
Thank you. Please bring a friend. No, honestly, thank you for wanting to try something. Youth soccer does an amazing, you know this, Mike. Youth soccer does an amazing job in this town. They have hundreds of kids out there playing soccer on a weekly basis. For many reasons, we don't have those numbers. And so a lot of times you might get a kid in middle school who's never played before, so like a 7th grader. And I'm just so proud of that kid and their parents for taking a healthy risk and trying something new and seeing if it works. We often say to them, don't buy equipment. Why don't you borrow it? Right. We'll make sure that you like it first. Come to our clinic. I think we hosted a clinic in the spring. Well, I guess it's June. So 3 days, $40. It was not about money.
Right.
It was about getting kids to try something.
Sure.
And maybe liking it. And if they like it, well, then maybe they'll sign up in the fall. And then maybe they'll come and play when they're freshmen.
Sure. What are the numbers looking like this year? Freshman, JV, varsity? You have 3 teams?
Yeah. So this is my, I just want to applaud all of the kids in the program. So the sophomores up. So last year we had 6 freshmen. I had to submit a waiver to get the 8th graders to come up and play because I didn't have enough kids and I didn't want to lose the quote-unquote freshman or JVB team because once you lose it, it's tough to get back.
Sure.
So we called the kids up. They played. They did great. So last year, 6 freshmen. This year, 19.
Wow.
And so I really do attribute that to, the seniors that are now in college and my current seniors and my juniors for helping out at the youth and hosting that clinic and just really making field hockey, those kids feel so welcome and willing to try something. I applaud them.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, again, it goes back to the culture that you're building, and I've heard you say in another interview, like you want your you want your places to be the. Now I'm going to forget it. But no, you something to the effect of you want your players to be the best versions of themselves, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be the best field hockey player,
Nope.
but it could be the best person, right? And it could be helping out. It could be volunteering. And so, I think and you can see the results of that already after 1 year of having 19, freshmen, just going out for field hockey. So kudos to you.
Oh, yeah. And again, I don't I don't want to take that credit. I really do think it's like the kids that did it. I might have said, hey, can you help out? But they're the ones that really showed up and put in the time and just spread the word and smiled at them. And even if that kid was really bad at it, they said, that was great. And the kid felt good, you know? Because, again, it's not always about making the best pass. It's about having a sense of community and feeling like you belong to something. And if kids can walk away with that, whether it's the youth or high school, then we've done our job.
Right.
So I was going to, you talked about sort of just try it out. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't. And I think with most sports at the high school level, like if you're athletic enough, you can get away with, you can compete. Mm-hmm. And so can you just talk a little bit about that? Maybe because the audience for this, I hope, is parents who are high school parents or the middle school parents who are maybe thinking about the high school years. What would you tell them? They have an athletic child. Maybe they want to try field hockey. It's not too late.
So I have many stories of kids who have come out their sophomore year, and not just, in the last 2 years, but if I look at my field hockey coaching career from way back in 2002, right? I've seen so many kids come out as sophomores and make an impact as a sophomore, either on a JV or even a varsity team. So, I have a girl this year. Again, I don't want to say names. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but she's a very good hockey goalie. She played golf last year, and she's just coming out this year to play with us. And you can see already she is athletic and she has raw talent. And I'm just so excited for her to have this opportunity, to play with a new group of kids, to try something that, she might have picked up when she was in 3rd or 4th grade or something, but it wasn't anything that was on her radar. And now we love her. I'm just so happy that she's there. And so for a kid like that, that's what I would say to the parents. Like, it's so hard. We have this culture right now where we feel like a kid needs to specialize in one sport and they've got to do it from, age 5 on. This girl hasn't played, and now she's going to play at high school. Right. So, I don't know. I just feel like there is always a place for you if you're willing to try and make that place. So
that's great. Yeah, I mean, you think of all the kids that, they get cut from soccer or they get cut from volleyball, right?
Basketball.
We heard in the basketball, volleyball for this season, right?
Sure,
so they had, what did she say, 80 some odd kids try out, and I think the tendency is for kids to, I won't say get stolen into the track program because you do coach track.
Whoa.
I know
these are fighting words.
I should say
I'll
say cross country. How about that?
I see.
But for field hockey, it's like there is that option, right? They're athletes. They're athletic. They compete, and so maybe not just go straight to cross country. Maybe you can go the field hockey path potentially.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of courage for that kid and those parents. And so, honestly, those are the kids you want. You want the kids that are going to be courageous and say, well, I don't know if I've ever played this. I'm probably going to be not the best, but why not?
Right.
So.
And that, I'll just call it that thing that girl potentially has because she is going to do it. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when they're on the field, like that's something that's going to help them succeed.
Yeah.
Right? That it factor, if that makes sense. Right.
Yes, for sure.
In my real life, my job, not as much now, but when I was younger, I would hire a lot of people out of college. And, you get a resume and you want to, you read the resume. And I always found, because what I do for real life is work with kids with disabilities and kids with behavior issues and things like that. And my best employees were always the kids who played sports in high school or college. It was such a team environment where I work. They just get it, and they can sacrifice a little bit of their ego and their pride for what's best for the kid and what's best for the unit, And this is what you're talking about, that kid that's going to take a risk, the kid that wants to be part of a team, that kid that understands I'm not going to be the best, I'm not going to be the most relied upon, but I can.
But I'm going to contribute.
I can contribute.
That's
exactly.
all, right. And if you have a team of contributors,
right,
you have a dang good team.
Exactly.
Before we let you go, some X's and O's. Like when we watched the girls field hockey team this fall, like what's the strategy? Like, is there, football obviously they have different schemes and stuff, but what's sort of your strategy? We'll make sure the folks from Andover and Chelmsford don't have access to this podcast.
Oh yeah, no, I'd have to watch them really to learn strategy. So I mean, one of the things I'd say I think we're a stronger defensive team than we are offensive. So this year, my strategy is to try to get as many touches on the ball as possible in the circle and just make shots on net and hope for some rebounds that go in or some deflections, or who knows, sometimes you get that fluke shot from the top that makes it in. So I think for the kids, that's kind of my strategy this year, is just to see if we can score maybe a little bit more, because they are solid defensively. A lot of my defense is returning players. So yeah, that's my...
I coached a few field hockey games with Bill Gordon at Danvers Indoor Sports, and we could never understand why the defense stood back. So we actually implemented the crash the net. Like instead, we took the field out of hockey and just pretended it was hockey, and we had them crash the net and screen the goalie, and lo and behold, they contributed to a few goals. So just saying.
Hold on, let me write this down.
So if you ever need...
Mike says...
If you ever need somebody who has no idea what the heck's going on, maybe I can help out. I don't know. But
do you want... I see you have your roster with you. You're not going to name every kid, but...
I didn't want to forget someone.
Yeah,
I forgot the one senior, right? Like that already.
Maybe name your captains, or maybe some, whoever you want.
Oh,
You can list them all if you'd like.
Well, so the captains this year are Shelby Nasser, which you would know. She plays ice hockey. Sienna DeSalvo, she's a triathlete as well. And then Lizzie Nicolopoulos, whose sister played a few years ago, and she also does a whole lot of dance. So those are my three captains. As for the seniors, so Brianna Iglesias, she played for me last year as a junior. She was on the forward line. Lizzie McCabe also played last year on the forward line. I don't want to forget anyone. Oh, Bridget. Who everybody loves Bridget. So Bridget Bernard. You would know her from softball. Again, another tremendous athlete. And so she's a returning player. And then I have Caitlin Driscoll. So she played on JV last year, but she's coming up this year to help us out on the team. So I just want to make sure I didn't forget any of my seniors. Nope. I think I got them all. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty solid 7 seniors when you have 11 spots.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then, we've got Rose Gordon and Eliana Kaplan in the midfield. And some new juniors to us this year would be Kendall Wolf and Lauren Willow, Maura McCabe, Samantha Melville, Brenna Flanagan. So they're all a lot of those kids are going to help out defensively. I'm hoping that they will get some reps in between my solid senior defense.
Who's your goaltender?
Olivia Downer. So you might know her. She's a skier and a lacrosse player. She is the third of 4 sisters like the Gordons, and they've all played field hockey. And so I've had Olivia's younger sister. She's got to be in 8th grade. Yeah, 8th grader right now. And yep, so Grayson will be up with us next year.
Nice.
So a really nice group of kids. Blessed to work with them. Know a lot of their families. So looking forward to a solid season.
Great. Well, thank you for stopping in, and best of luck to you this season. And we'll be watching.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. Till next time, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.